Welcome back to Mega Man Zero. Last time we saved a cyber elf from a train. We didn't suplex it or anything fancy, but we did blow up the core. There was a guy in it. It was a whole thing. And unfortunately, today, we have a rescue mission. I mean, I don't begrudge the person who needs to be rescued, but I don't like the area. This mission in general, too, is also, certainly not one of my favorites. You might want to save this one for a little bit, but there are also a bunch of missions that are kind of unlocked past it. This one begins a bit of a chain of things. So we've got just an entire desert to the, I'm assuming, west of the city? I mean, I'm going left, and that's sort of west sometimes. Not all the times, but whatever, doesn't matter. So the enemies in the desert tend to be a little bit of a pain to deal with. Bear traps aren't so bad, providing you're looking out for them, but... oh, the vultures, they're a little bit slower than they would be to truly be a menace, but they can still take you by surprise like that. Usually the game's pretty nice and you can kind of see them coming, but yeah, you probably did notice that sometimes that's not true, and you don't see them coming. The snakes shouldn't be too bad provided you kill them as soon as possible. They lob bombs at you. You're also going to want to destroy this thing. Trust me, do this now, even if you do get the cyber elf up there and pass over the spot. Yeah, make sure those things are destroyed. They make the sand active, it will drag you towards the center, where you'll get shredded up by whatever the device making it is, but if you destroy it, it does not respawn. Unlike everything else in the desert, which will respawn constantly. I've also got things making tornadoes, but you can't actually miss them. You can have your bullets deflected by the wind, but it's not too bad. As long as you destroy them quickly enough, you shouldn't have to deal with too much damage to your clear time. No, there's something else that's going to be a pain for the clear time. You'll see it when we get there. Oh, Buster Shot skill up, nice. What do we get? We can now shoot 4 bullets. Hey, my name's Anubis Necromantis. I see you can shoot 4 bullets now. Wait, what? No, you don't. I didn't hire you. Okay, King of Destruction and Ruler of the Desert. I can see why we don't have any civilizations here. Oh, call me old. Look, cryosleep keeps you young. That's how it works. Right, so Anubis here is pretty easy. He'd be even easier if we had his weakness, and damn, that was quick. We can now charge Buster up to 2 grades. So yeah, that means we can now charge it with elements. However, no, he's not weak to electric. That is not what I was alluding to. We now have the potential to shoot people with elements, but we still don't have the right element for him. Anyway, though, yeah, he's a pretty easy boss. The spikes on the pillars aren't one-hit kills. They're very easy to dodge anyway, but even if you do mess up, it's not instantly fatal. Zombies will try to chomp down on you. You pretty much just need to recognize the pattern of his staff. He does have, like, 3 different patterns he can use, but they all have a very obvious visual tell, and they give you plenty of time to actually maneuver around them, so honestly, recognizing them is pretty easy, thus making them easy to dodge as well. He's also pretty easy to interrupt even without his elemental weakness. You're going to be seeing those pillars a lot if you do have his elemental weakness, because you'll just kind of kick him out of everything. Really, the main issue is pretty much just, does he still have zombies? If so, his other attacks might be a little more difficult to dodge. They won't be around for the pillar attacks, though. just his staff attacks and also more zombies. Heaping zombies on you is actually a pretty difficult strategy to deal with. It's actually a fair bit of meat shield if he does that. However, defeating the boss does not actually end the mission. So unfortunately, the Resistance does not have very good technology, meaning we can't just teleport around willy-nilly like we could in the X series. And unfortunately, that also includes we can't just get this guy back to base now that we've found him. We've gotta go the long way. Oh boy, so yeah, this is where the mission gets tedious. Like I said, you do want to stop these sand traps from working. As long as you've done that, he won't get caught up in them, which is good, because it's annoying to have to bring him along in the first place, with all the respawning enemies. Oh god, the vultures are even worse now, and the snakeheads do need to be killed immediately. If he takes too much damage, he's dead. However, if you go too far ahead and leave him off screen, he will stop, and then if you leave him for too long after that, if you go too much farther, he is dead. Since this takes so long, I didn't actually go back to the crashed ship that he had, but there is a full heal on that you could see, and an extra life as well. No cyber elves, though, which is good, because I don't want to have to come back to that thing. Usually, area cyber elves are actually obtainable, even if you complete a mission. Ones that are in enemies are not. If you miss those, screw you, go to New Game Plus. But if they're just like hanging out on this structure, for example, it's entirely possible to get them down the line. In fact, that might sometimes be a little more convenient than getting them in mission. Alright, so as long as we don't have too many surprises like that, we should be good. We've got, I think this was the initial one, which didn't actually have any running sand in the first place. Though it does have a weird hole there. Don't know what that's about. Alright, now we just have this initial area with the tank. Do love the environmental storytelling in this game. Sorry, environmental storytelling TM. You know, it doesn't use skeletons, sure, but I do like that you can just see war machines in the desert. Just as a note, the game never actually tells you where the city is. It's not actually important. And you don't know what happened here either. It's just a place that's kind of unpleasant to be in, because you know something happened here, and you know it must have been terrible, but it's not actually relevant to what we're doing today. Or the next day, or the next day. Alright, and if it weren't for clear time, I would have gotten a perfect score. I got enough enemies, but yeah, 5 whole points docked per clear time. Like I said, you do want to be careful with those tornadoes, because there's a lot more in the mission that can slow you down. Right, so, he's talking about a large-scale attack on the Resistance base, which is bad enough. But there's also something else in the desert that was not mentioned that will come up, in a different mission. Needless to say, though, he did make his escape from somewhere, so clearly the enemy has some kind of base around. But, I don't believe we'll be getting to that next time. For the time being, though, we can rest easy knowing we saved a dude. And now we can rest on our laurels for like, I don't know, 10 seconds. Zero seems pretty busy. Who knows how long he's taking between missions. Could actually be a week, could just be a couple seconds. It depends entirely on if you're binging this or not.